Hi, it's Glenn from the Burnett River Clean. I just wanted to show you some rubbish that I've picked up today over a 4-hour period. I've just got back not long ago and pretty soaked. This rubbish is rubbish that I had noticed over the last few weeks and taken a lot of photos of so that I could remember their whereabouts with a GPS in the phone, in the photos and stuff. You can see there's a few of the council witches' hats. They're rubber or some sort of plastic. There's a little bit of netting there. There's a bit of this orange green crab trap netting there. A lot of plastic floats, as usual, always is. The foam floats, the plastic floats. There's an oar, a plastic field drum, and there's also a couple of crab traps here. Some of this reinforced kind of rubber hosing. It's about 1.25 inches, I'd say. And there's a life jacket there that's been torn apart that was hanging from a tree. It's probably been hanging from that tree for a fair while, but look at that. There's another fender. See more of that hose as we come around here, and a speed limit sign. Plus there's a sweet potato box or potato box off the farms there. These are pretty cool. These big bubbles, they fill up with air. They're good for anchors. That's still got air in it, but it's a bit funny on one side from sitting in the sun for years and years. Luckily it was in semi-shade in the mangroves. This sign, you can see it also has faded on one side. If you come around this side, it isn't so bad. These things are everywhere through the river. There's more floats. These ones, some of them are covered in barnacles. Like those barnacles are dead. You can see that. Then we've got a container here with bottles in it. These plastic bottles are still all through the river. And then there's some lay flat pipe. There'd be about 40 metres of this. It was twisted through the mangroves halfway up Rubyanna Creek. And also this car tyre. It's connected to a rim and still totally full. Well, I can't really push it in. If you put it on a car, it'd probably be pretty flat. But I mean, it's got enough air in it to still float it around the river. This drum here, I've got no idea why it's got holes in it. It could have been an intake for a farm pump to stop weeds and stuff getting into the pump. This one here's a fruit box, and it's been cut about 400 probably in height, and it's you can see there it's got like a stain. It actually comes off. It's just from sitting in the water going up and down wedged between these mangroves for all those years, and it's sort of like just couldn't go anywhere. It could only go up and down in the current. But I thought I'd get it out because I can sell this and get a little bit of money for fuel to get back down here. There was a cast net. Someone's decided they didn't want it, and it's ended up in the mangroves. It's got like a chain on the bottom of it here with just all the net, the usual stuff. There's a witch's hat, another one. I usually find half a dozen witch's hats every day. They're all through the mangroves. The usual thongs. Wouldn't know how many are there, didn't really count them, but it's the rear section of the boat where the transom is behind the seat. These needles, they're a usual kind of a thing, as you'd know if you've watched the Facebook channel, the YouTube channel and the Facebook page. You can see there's a number of needles just free floating around in there. I picked those up as well, but those yellow containers, I haven't even checked inside them, but they've all got something in them. You can hear them rattling around. They can hold up to a dozen needles, I suppose, in each one. And then we're back to the beginning again. I found this half a wheelie bin that someone's used for something, and I utilised it and used it for plastic bottles. Got a few hundred in there. You can see some of these bottles are new and some of them aren't new. And the thing is, that just shows you that there's new bottles always in the river, and some of the old bottles are still floating around in the river and haven't been picked up. But we're all doing our best, I suppose, to try to get these out. There'd be a couple of hundred in there. But I almost forgot to show I found a cool kayak today. It's full of black silt. It's a bit rough. Someone's cut a chunk out of the back of it there. It's got a number of holes in it. I suppose they can easily be fixed with fiberglass. But I just towed that along, only didn't have to go far, and then I found this strange sort of a trap. It's totally open at this end here, and it's all ripped. There's rips everywhere through it, and there's a door or something that's meant to go on here. And another one of these blue drums. I'd say that I've got photos of at least 10 of these blue drums down there now. And one of these is green, but it's a full-size one that's going to come back this week, and also a big white one. There's a number of the yellow buoys that you use on the moorings for boats. There's probably about 8 or 10 of them, I think I counted last week, that I'm going to grab. And like just countless floats, foam floats everywhere. They come out because they're foam. Large pieces of foam I try to get out. But these bottles are the problem. They're just, you know, I looked somewhere today on the internet and I saw the ridiculous amount of bottles that are plastics that are going into the riverways these days is just crazy. But obviously it wasn't in Australia, but it's pretty scary to think that even our little contribution of a few thousand bottles a week heading out into the ocean, I wouldn't even know how long these bottles take, because like that's a new bottle and it was floating around in the mangroves, so it could easily be out at sea, and if I didn't find it. But a lot of them don't have lids on them, so they can easily fill up with junk, and they'll float like that, bobbing along. But if they fill up with rubbish, they're just going to sink. But anyway, that's life, I suppose. It's just something that I'm going to have to try to get some funding for, and I can sell things. I can sell this one, and you know, a few of those floats are in reasonably good condition to still reuse. The fenders, little things like that. So if I get $50 or something, that'll cover me for another few days of fuel. I've got a larger boat here, the Predator. It's 6.5 meters, but I don't use that to work around the Rubyanna Creek and the other creeks, because it just destroys the edges of the mangroves as you go in. Not to mention when you park it on the shore and all that, they're pretty destructive, these bigger boats. So I just try to stick with this one as much as I can, and even if I make 2 or 3 trips like that a day, like I said, this was only 4 hours, so if when I was working for the council and was paid, I could do 2 or 3, 4 of these trips in a day. But at the moment I'm sort of limited to what I can get out of the river. But if you want to see more videos, there will be more uploaded this week, and videos of the rubbish that I see in the mangroves and stuff, just to give people an idea what's in there. You can subscribe to Burnett River Clean, that would be good, or you can check out the website, that's www.burnettriverclean.com, or you can look on the Facebook page and like it. Like, that's enough support just there. I will be doing small little cruises around the river for 3 people plus me. If anyone's interested, you can message me, private message, and I'll give you an idea of the small donation that I ask for to take people first hand into the mangroves. All you need is a pair of boots, and I'll supply the Aeroguard and the rest of the stuff. If you want to wear the boots I have, you're welcome to wear those too, but I'd probably suggest that you at least have boots, not steel caps, as you're in mud. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed watching the video.